Welcome back to Peak and Truth. I'm the host, Graham Mitchell, and today we're going to focus on a segment called Coaching 101. We're going to break down the most recent game the Jets played against the Chiefs, in which Zach Wilson had his best game of his career statistically, and I would argue in many other key areas that I think are being overlooked. Let's dive into the tape. So, something I really want to highlight in regards to coaching that I think gets overlooked far too often are the subtleties of coaching. When you're looking at player development or just personal development in any field, the subtleties of improvement are really where the gains happen. So when somebody comes out of nowhere and we say, wow, the light went on. The light may have went on, or a big jump or gain in progress or performance or production may have occurred. But if you pay attention, those signs or signals of that breakout had been happening. It doesn't necessarily always translate into immediate results, but if you know what to look for, you'll be aware that there is acute development happening, and that doesn't always necessarily mean you can expect it to continue or that you'll know when it will continue, but the point is that you want to be able to pull out progress. You want to be able to look beyond the numbers, okay, beyond the results. It's called outcome-based decision making or outcome-based coaching, right? In other words, you don't want to focus solely on the goals or the outcomes, the stats, right? If somebody's trying to lose weight and they say, I want to lose 100 pounds, that's a great goal. Now, if we focus on wanting to lose 100 pounds, guess what? We're never going to get there, number one. Number two, it's going to be really, really difficult to see your progress day to day because the destination is not a straight line, right? Some days you're going to lose 2 pounds. Some weeks you might put on a half a pound and wonder why that happened. Really, what needs to be focused on are the daily habits, because that is how you're going to get there. In other words, the roadmap. How are you going to get to 100 pounds lost? How is Zach Wilson going to get to the place where he wants to be, where his teammates and coaches want and need him to be, and where fans expect him to be? How is he going to get there? If we're just looking at, what were his stats last game and how have his stats progressed, and, the eye test, which is basically, if you're just looking at completed passes, you're just looking at the visual representation of the stats pretty much. If that's all you're paying attention to, I promise you, you're going to miss some things on both sides of the coin. When the stats are good, you may miss some things that need to be fixed or things that need to be worked on. You're going to miss the intricacies and the subtleties that explain why things are happening, both from an individual player standpoint and from a surrounding contextual standpoint. You're going to miss those things. And so this is, in my opinion, why a lot of people miscalculate, misjudge player performance and get the projections wrong, both on where they think somebody can go and where they think they're at currently. You really got to look deep. And it's nothing crazy. You just have to value those subtleties and know how to spot them. And as long as you do that, you'll have a much better, your vision will be much improved in terms of the accuracy of your analysis. So we're going to look at a few things. So here on this play, this was early in the game. I believe it's in the first quarter. And, they called a flea flicker and immediately there was pressure and Zach avoided the rush. And as you can see, Allen Lazard is wide open. Zach can see him. Allen can see that Zach can see him. And there's just one man to beat. And I heard a lot of people out there trying to make the argument, well, there was pressure up the middle, but this was a missed opportunity by Zach because, if he would have, avoided that rush and then just chucked it up because, he saw that Allen Lazard was open, that could have been a big play. Now, I have to roll my eyes at that. First of all, that's extremely easy to say when you're watching it on film the next day or even on a slow motion replay. That's number one. Number two, the same people that wanted Zach to just throw it up Oh, well, Allen's open, and yeah, I know there was some pressure, but he's got a strong arm. He can make that throw. Yeah, it's the first quarter of the game. They're already down 10-0, playing against the Chiefs. If he throws that up, he gets hit, he's off balance, his feet were never set. You got 3 quarters left in the game. So one of the major things we wanted Zach to focus on was taking care of the ball. When he makes careless or overly aggressive throws or takes risks unnecessarily early in the game, just like any quarterback, that might work sometimes and it might not work sometimes. And if it doesn't work early in the game, that's going to set your team back even further. Fans are going to boo. Oh, Zach threw another interception. But, he should have just thrown it up, right? First quarter. So you got to use your head. It's not all about, well, on this play, this guy was open and Zach missed that read.
Stupid.
There's a whole game being played here. And so to me, the fact that he didn't throw the ball shows growth, right? Because you could see when as I'm going to show you, when he gets hit and he's on the ground, it almost looks like, if you didn't know what was going on, it looks like he's hurt because of the way he stays on the ground and kind of rolls on his back a little bit. But if you've ever played ball and if you look closely, you'll know that was him laying on the ground like, fuck, that guy was wide open. He wanted to make that throw and he restrained himself. He could have probably forced it. He may have been able to make that throw, but it's early in the game. You don't want to completely take your team out of the game. They're already down 10-0. The offense isn't really rolling yet. This is not the time to be careless with the football. And he's done that in the past and everybody's killed him for it. So I really don't understand why all of a sudden in the best game that he's played, we're nitpicking that he should have thrown it up because Allen Lazard was open. I mean, you got to use your head. So let's take a look. So, yeah, you can see he rolls over. Oh, well, you can't really see it there. But let's go back a little further. Well, there it is right there. So you can see him right there laying on his back, and he's just like, damn, I had him, And to me, this speaks volumes because it shows that, he restrained himself. In his mind, he said, okay, I'm going to get away from this second guy. And if I can get away from him, I got the arm. I'll throw it. I'll throw the jump ball out there because I'm sure by that point the safety may come over. But, I trust my guy. But in a quick, avoided the guy in the pocket, step out and just throw it. It was a little early to make that throw, and it would have been a super rushed throw. And the chances of would have been perfectly accurate, no matter who he was, are slim. It's just not a high percentage throw at that point. So at that point, you got to take a few more steps and throw it down the field. And, he couldn't get away from the guy. That wasn't his fault at all. That was actually smart that he didn't throw it. But let's go back. So here's the flea flicker. And as soon as he catches the ball, bang, pressure. So he has to step up. At this point, this is something he's done a lot better. He's getting pressure. He catches the ball, steps up. He still has his eyes downfield. He knows Allen Lazard is running this flea flicker. So he steps up. He's immediately thinking, I want to get around this guy real quick, set my feet as fast as I can, and throw it to Allen Lazard. Steps up. He looks downfield. Damn, he's open. But I got pressure right in my face. If I set my feet 1-2, by the time I do that, I'm going to get hit. Takes one step. Damn, got to get away from this guy. Tries to get away, still eyes downfield. He's getting ready to throw the ball and just can't make the throw. So for everybody killing him that he should have thrown this ball, I don't know where you're getting this from. I've seen a lot of these Jet commentators, some of these, Joe Blewett and other guys, Nania and whatever, online analysts out there that, to their credit, they put a lot of work in on some of these analyses. But the fact that I heard some of them saying that he should have thrown this ball is absolutely absurd. This was wise growth and development from the game within the game that Zach has shown in recent weeks. Frankly, this whole season, since the preseason, he's done this a lot better. And that's something that we do want to see him balance that out with a little bit more aggression, which he shows later on in this game. But the fact that he is starting to understand the game within the game, not just don't ever take the risks, but it's early in the game. They're down 17-0. You throw an interception right now, that could be it. Game over, right? Chiefs have, our defense hasn't been able to stop them yet. You throw an interception, it's 1st and 10. You're going to throw an interception on 1st down. Defense just came off the field. Oh, Patrick Mahomes goes right back down. Morale is destroyed. I mean, that could be it. That could be a game killer. So this was smart that he didn't throw this ball. Look at him. He's pissed. I had him. He knows he had him. But it's not his fault, and you live to fight another day. Look at this. Bang. As soon as he catches the ball, dips that guy. I mean, that was talent. Just that was a display of his talent and athleticism just to avoid that rush. I mean, Dalvin Cook's on the ground. He's not doing anything. He's completely out of the play. If he didn't just fall like he did after he received the handoff, if he didn't just fall, he could have maybe delayed that second rusher for a second or two, and Zach could have thrown the ball. Let's take another look. There's no reason for him to fall on this play. What is he doing? He's sold out on the play. He turned around, tossed it, and that's it. I did my job for the play. And then he just sits there and watches. And his man is the one that disrupts this play. Oh, that was my guy. I could have blocked him. So how about you look deeper into the film rather than saying, Zach should have carelessly thrown this ball and potentially thrown an interception, and he didn't throw it, and that shows that he's still thinking too much. No, not at all. That shows that he was trying his best to avoid the rush to make the throw, but other people didn't do their jobs, and he was smart enough to not force it and throw his team out of the game. Well done, Zach. So here we have another play where one of the other critiques I've heard about, and mind you, I'm not trying to say that Zach played a flawless game. I mean, nobody plays a flawless game for the most part, and he still has plenty of things to work on, as he has said himself, which is also another display of his growth, but I'm not going to go there just yet. But I've heard other people, like on WFAN, some of the guys on WFAN who I have great respect for, have made some comments. They have supported Zach, but they've also, them and some other Jet creators have made other critiques from this game, like, oh, well, he had those great 4 drives, and then other than that, he still didn't do anything because we didn't score. He fumbled on the last play. That was a mistake. But I completely disagree. And I don't disagree in the sense where it's like, well, I disagree. That's your truth. No, they're just wrong. Okay. He actually, in the first couple drives were maybe a little shaky. I don't know that I would blame him completely for that, but he was moving a little bit slower in his progression. And I think he was a little tight in the beginning of the game, although things weren't wide open. But still, his movement and rhythm and intensity, which I'm going to talk about later in this video, it wasn't to the level that it rose to later on. But I disagree completely that other than those 4 drives, he didn't do anything. We were moving the ball. Once he got his first down, we were moving the ball, and he was making pretty good decisions. There were a couple of throws that were off. But other than that, pretty much the reads and the decisiveness and his footwork in the pocket and all of these things, they were head and shoulders miles better than they've been in the past couple of years. He's gotten so much better. He has a long way to go still because he has so much potential. So for him to reach that potential, he's nowhere near his ultimate potential, maxing out his potential yet. He's nowhere near there. And we'll have to see how he plays against the Broncos. However, he has gotten so much better. It's laughable that some people can't see it and they're just looking at, well, his completion percentage was this, and one good game doesn't. It's not about the one good game. It's like the analogy I gave you in the beginning about losing weight. You don't judge the outcome when you're looking for development. Yes, we need the team to win games, right? As fans. Yes, we want his numbers to be good. Yes, if I was Garrett Wilson, I would be somewhat frustrated, because I know that if Zach was where he needs to be, I'm where I need to be, and I can put up points and we can be an explosive offense. I get all of that, but that's out of Zach's control. He can only control his development and where he's at, and he has gotten so much better, and he's still getting better. And so let's focus on that. But once again, like I said, he actually was making a lot of good throws. I think the offense was playing a little bit more conservative. And also, once again, let's remember, it's early in the game. And one of the things that Zach has worked on is playing the game within the game. Don't lose the game in the first quarter. The knee-jerk reaction is when you turn on the game and you're watching as a fan and even, as a young player, you want, okay, we scripted the first drive. We should be able to go down and score. Damn, it didn't work. All right. Damn, I maybe turn over the ball, or somebody on the team turns over the ball, or we give up a kick return, or the other team scores. Now the pressure's on. Now we need to score. 3 and out. Damn. Now we gave up some more points. All of a sudden, we're behind in the game, and it's early on, and the pressure is there to start forcing it. But it's early in the game. And when you've played sports at a high level for a long time, one of the things you learn is don't lose the game early on, because games have rhythms. They have ebbs and flows. Pace yourself, drop your heart rate, rely on your fundamentals, stick to your skills and your abilities, play within yourself, trust the teammates and the people around you, and you guys will, if it's, in team sports, typically one team goes ahead and then the other team works their way back. And most games are within striking distance in, when it comes down to the wire. The way that games get out of hand is when teams start pressing and forcing it. And that's when the other team kind of leans on you, puts their foot on your throat, and you start losing the game for yourself. And Zach has definitely done that in the past, and he's learned to not do that. So taking a check down on a play where there's nobody wide open, he's not trying to hold the ball forever like he did in the Patriots game, right? Because in the Cowboys game, I thought he played pretty well. He was pretty decisive. There was a ton of pressure, and he was still stepping up in the pocket, and we didn't win. And he started forcing it at the end of the game because obviously we needed to put up points, but he was really forcing it in there and kind of abandoned some of his fundamentals that he'd improved on, and, threw a few interceptions, and it didn't look good. And then everybody's beating him up. Oh, he threw 3 interceptions. So, all right. So Patriots game, he comes out, he's trying to pace himself. He's trying to, it's raining. Bill Belichick is clearly in his head. He doesn't want to throw 3 interceptions against the Patriots. Also, the fans are going to kill him. The teammates are going to be frustrated. And he's trying to, we have a great defense. It's raining. Let me just not make any mistakes. Okay, that didn't really work. We lost the game. So now he's coming out in this game. He's trying to be more aggressive. We're down big. But I actually think it showed a lot of maturity that he still didn't force anything early on, didn't make any big mistakes. So let's look here. It's 3rd and 16, right? We got in some unfavorable early down and distances, and that's something else that people overlook as well. Circumstances of the game. There was a play earlier on in the game where we got a first down, and then Zach went for a hard count, and Mekhi Becton gets called for a false start. And if you're watching the game, not just this clip part that I'm showing you, I was actually somewhat surprised to see the demonstrative response from Zach, because first of all, he's made plenty of mistakes, right? It's tough to be demonstrative with your leadership when, you haven't been playing your best, because, it almost feels contrived, and you don't feel like your teammates are going to appreciate being shown up or, pushed. But, it shows where Zach is at mentally. So if we're talking about development and we're saying one of Zach's issues has been confidence and, mental toughness and being a leader and maturity, then that's where we should be looking for his growth and development. So earlier in this play, Mekhi Becton gets called for a false start, and Zach turns to him and he goes, and Mekhi Becton's just like, oh. And I thought that was telling, that Zach turns to his offensive lineman. He's like, come on, man. I told you on 3.
Take over the Kansas City 41. Push it back to the 46. Mekhi Becton, the left tackle.
Gotta focus, man. Get your head in the game.
Still first down.
So much of this season really revolves around can Mekhi.
That's a different player. I haven't seen Zach do that. So, he obviously saw something in the defense as well, because I believe he checked on that play. So it was like, wow, he's zoned in. So it's a false start. Now we're back a few yards. Dalvin Cook gets stuffed. All of a sudden, it's 3rd and 16. So y'all want him to force. You're going to blame him because Mekhi Becton jumped off sides and Dalvin Cook got stuffed on a run, and now it's 3rd and 16. So now he should force it again and throw an interception when we're on our 30-yard line. Use your heads. Come on. So also, this was actually not a bad play. As you can see, Tyler Conklin's open. And Zach is thinking, if I could let him cross this hash and just lead him a little bit, he's a tight end on a smaller guy. He could break that tackle and get a first down. Those other guys are clearing out. So here we go. So, bang. You see, we're going to go back. You see how Tyler Conklin is trailing towards the first down marker, right? So it seems to me that this was where the play was designed to go. Okay, we're clearing out the right side of the field, and Tyler beats his man. He's going to come across. He's going to break this tackle and get a first down. It's a conservative attempt to almost catch them off guard because they're thinking we're going to go for the deep shot to try to, make up the yards on one play. Zach's looking downfield. It's not there. Bang, he hits Conklin. It's a good throw, leads him. He just couldn't break the tackle. Okay. All right. We tried to be like semi-conservative, aggressive. It didn't really work. But it wasn't Zach's fault. He didn't do anything wrong on that play. So moving along. Then we get the safety and things start to change, right? The defense made a play. Now we get the ball back again. As you can see on the previous drive, I was just telling you that was a good play. 3rd and 16. It wasn't his fault. We were in 3rd and 16, right? It's not like he took a sack or something like that. And so here we are. He completed a pass. He read the defense properly. It wasn't enough to make up for the penalty that Mekhi Becton committed. And so why are we saying that Zach didn't do anything on this drive? That wasn't his fault. He played perfectly fine on that drive. He did what he was supposed to do. If it wasn't for the offsides and the running game not getting any yards, we would have been in a better 3rd down position and probably would have gotten a first down. Didn't work that way. Live to fight another day. And that's what Zach has done so much better. And the fact that y'all don't see that and you're only looking at, but the offense didn't score points on every drive, so that means that he didn't do anything on those drives. You just don't get it. You don't understand football. So anyway. So here we go. Next drive. That's an awesome fake. We got to go back to that. I know most people, including myself, when we were watching this live, didn't know where the ball was. I thought it went to the fullback. This was an awesome fake, which once again, so play action fakes is another area where Zach has grown significantly. His fakes, his commitment to his fakes have gotten so much better. I mean, his play action fakes early on, they were good sometimes, but it wasn't even about the fakes. It was about him wanting to turn around so quickly, to see the field and panicking and not being patient and, altering the timing of the play. That's what was throwing off a lot of those early play actions in previous seasons. But through the tutelage and just observing Aaron Rodgers and whatever the coaching staff has been working on with him, you can see a significant amount of growth in his comfort level and calm nature, his calmness, while running these play actions. I mean, the fact that he calmly did this little double play action thing, even if they're coaching it, it looked very fluid and very natural. And so when you're looking at growth, when you're trying to analyze a player, that's one of the things you want to look for. You want to look at fluidity and whether they're pressing or whether it feels forced, whether they look nervous, whether they look rushed, or whether it looks very natural and calm. Because one of the main signs of literally one of the main markers that you can look for to see if somebody has mastered a skill or is approaching expert level of a skill is that they can do it calmly. The term that coaches use is quiet. Their body looks quiet when they make a play. If you're a baseball player and you have a really powerful, violent swing, but if you look very closely in slow motion, you can see the balance and the non-wasted motion of their body, and all of that force is being directed in that one smooth motion of the swing of the bat, and that's why they generate so much power. That's why they're so good. That's why their swing is so powerful, because they have a very quiet body, and what that means is that they're in control of their body, and they're directing the energy and force exactly where they want it to go. So when you see Zach making this fake where he has to turn in two different directions, but it never impedes his pace. His pace doesn't slow down at all. He's able to add a little oomph to the fakes and sell them a little bit with a little bit of extra, gusto in each motion without messing up his footwork, and then calmly turns around to survey the field. That shows that he has worked on this a lot, and he has gotten a lot better at it. And he knows exactly what he's doing. And that's what gives you the confidence to sell those moments. Because if you are worried about the play developing, you're going to rush that. You're going to turn around and you're going to go, okay, I got to turn here and fake here, and then I got to turn and fake here, and I don't know if it feels like it's taking a long time, and I'm going to get pressure, and so I need to get through it quickly. So you're going to do something like that, and it's not going to work. When you take your time and do it in this smooth way, it's because you trust your fundamentals, you've worked on it a lot, and you're confident in this movement. And that's why it works. So bang. There's the fake. Drops his head. Drops his hand. Still pointing his body in the same direction. He looks very calm. I mean, just look at the straight back. There's nothing phony about this play, right? It looks very natural. It just looks like, oh, okay, this is my movement. Bang. You can even see him somewhat decelerating a little bit. Then bang, quickly turns around, snaps his head around. And look at this. This is something else I want to look at right here. So one of my biggest criticisms of Zach, an area where I've really wanted to see more development from him, has been movement in the pocket. Obviously stepping up in the pocket, for sure. He was very hesitant to, stand in the pocket for reasons I understand, but he did need to work on that. But other than that, I want to see, yes, I've already seen that he's stepping up in the pocket. I've seen it. I've already noticed from the preseason and in the first couple games that he's way better in the pocket. His footwork is way better. He looks much more grounded and centered in the pocket. And, he's not perfect yet, but he's gotten so much better at that. I've already seen development there. What I want to see is that he senses the pressure and can keep his eyes on the target and slide in the pocket. That's the next level of growth. Yeah, hit your back foot, step up in the pocket. Okay, great. But can you slide in the pocket because you feel the pressure without really having to see it, or without there even really being pressure? Because that's what used to happen to Zach. Like, there would be people around him and he would freak out a little bit like they were going to get to him. He's not trusting his blocks. He's not trusting that, well, if I just step this way a little bit, then the lineman can now shade and block that guy off. And then there's nobody else around me and I actually have a lot of time. So that's an area where he's really needed to grow. And I see that on this play. And it to me, this said, Zach is starting to get it. Something has changed. His comfort level is different, right? And this is before any touchdowns or anything. He's going to go double fake here. And then, the play's not fully developed yet. He knows he needs a little bit more time. There's not even anybody truly in his face yet. He does probably see that pressure's coming up the middle, but rather than slide backwards like he used to do, or just step straight up in the pocket or something, he very calmly just shuffles a little bit to his left. Just a little bit. Just enough to buy himself a second. And then he's still in a nice clean pocket. Timing still on. Beautiful. To me, that's not about the throw. That's about sliding in the pocket, feeling the pressure without ever taking his eyes off the target. And I have not seen that from Zach. So another thing I want to talk about real quick is I haven't heard anybody point out that, last year when Zach was losing his confidence and was clearly had been shaken up mentally, he was missing a lot of easy throws, and accuracy was never a problem for Zach coming out of college. He wasn't Christian Hackenberg, a guy that, had a great arm and could make amazing throws, but then sometimes was just airmailing people for no reason and throwing stuff in the dirt. No, when he came out, one of his major strengths was his accuracy. And when his confidence started going, you could see that he was aiming his throws. And when you start aiming your throws, what that means is that you're thinking. You're like, okay, you're trying to make the throw go to the right place because maybe you were off on a different throw and you're trying extra hard to look where, and all that does is distract you. You need to get out of your head. You need to be in reaction mode when you're playing at your best. When you're in the zone, your mind is quiet. You're not thinking about anything. You're just fully present in your body and you're just reacting. Okay, so he wasn't doing that last year, and he was missing a lot of easy throws, screen passes. We were all holding our breath every time there was a screen pass or a swing pass or anything like that. And I want you to just look at how calm he is on the checkdowns, on the run, perfect spiral. It's an easy throw, but everybody has different strengths and weaknesses, right? Zach, even when he wasn't playing great in his first couple of seasons, made some incredible throws. His problem was consistency, reading defenses, for sure, as with any young quarterback, but also random, yip type of throws where he would miss easy throws and then get in his head and start looking nervous and seem to spiral out of control. So if that's his issue, one of his unique issues, and you're not seeing that at all, you haven't seen one bad yip throw this entire season, I don't understand why nobody can recognize that that's a significant area of development, because that was something that made it look worse than it really was when he was missing those easy throws. He's not missing those. And if you understand what yips really are, it's a lack of confidence and it's overthinking, and it shows that you're mentally not there yet, right? Because a yip is not somebody that has no accuracy. You wouldn't call it a yip if they don't have accuracy. You would only call it that if they're typically an accurate thrower, and then they're missing these throws that we know they can make. So the only explanation is that they're in their head, and it's just affecting their performance. Something in their head is affecting their performance on these easy throws, right? So the fact that we're not seeing that directly correlates to the fact that his confidence has dramatically improved, and he's clearly much more present and in the moment, and his ability is able to shine through a lot more. And that's why this throw looks effortless, as it should. If this was later in the game, I think he might have thrown this to Garrett Wilson. But once again, it's still early in the game. And I think one of the things that they probably talked about during the week, because it's a trend throughout the game, if you paid attention, that, okay, teams are loading the box. We can't really run because every team wants to get in third and short or third and manageable. And they couldn't really run on first down that well or consistently because teams were loading the box. But what happened in the past few games is we tried to do that, and then we were in third and long. And then now there's a lot of pressure on Zach. Now the offensive line has a lot of pressure, and that wasn't working out very well either. So, you know what, Zach? We're going to throw it on earlier downs, but I want you to trust the shorter concepts. Get a few yards. Just don't take any sacks, and don't force it early in the game. Let's try to get into third and manageable. And then the playbook is open and we could do a lot of things. So, all right, I could force this to Garrett Wilson, but it's first down. I know this throw is an easy throw. We can get a few yards right here. Let me make that throw. That is maturity and growth. Y'all don't understand what's going on here. Y'all are too focused on, him being Aaron Rodgers. You got to let it go. You got to see where he was, where he's coming from, and where he's at now. And if you can't see the leaps and bounds he's made in terms of the mental part of the game within the game, you're either not paying attention, you're a hater, or you just don't know shit.
You stupid.
Now, I know this is a simple throw, but as you can see with the trend of this video, I'm trying to show you guys a different area of analysis when you're trying to look for development, signs of development with players. I've been coaching my entire life. I've been coaching over 25 years. okay? It's not just the things you would expect, right? One of my earliest mentors in coaching used to teach me, how to think about coaching. And I was a star soccer player, and I remember showing up to this big tournament, and there was this other kid, and he was playing in the field before us, and he was just a beast. He was the best player on the field. We just got there, so I didn't step on the field yet, but he was the best player on the field. And at that point in time, because I was still pretty young, I was probably about 15. Maybe I was younger, even 14, something like that. I hadn't fully come into my own yet. I knew I was really good, but I didn't really know how good, And this kid, I wasn't intimidated, but I remember looking at him and being like, damn, like, I think I can play at that level, but I don't know. Like, I guess we'll see. And I'm looking at all the goals he's scoring, and I'm looking at, he's fast and he's strong and he's fit and he looks like a beast out there, right? And, my stepfather, who was my coach at the time, when we left the field, I remember, he asked me, oh, did you see that kid? Whatever. Yeah, I saw him. The first question he asked me was, did you see the way that he showed up to the field? And I was like, what? What are you talking about? I thought he was going to ask me about, did you see the way, he chopped that ball right there? Did you see the control? You know what I mean? Like he had ball control and, he was just had the ball. And I thought he was going to be asking me about those things. Did you see those things? And what he was trying to point out to me was the level of commitment and professionalism that this young kid had. The way that he wore his sandals and had his cleats in his bag, showed up to the field. Cleats were in pristine condition, clean, polished. Game was over. Takes the cleats off, puts them back in the bag calmly, takes off his socks, changes everything, right? Whereas a lot of kids, especially at that time, you show up to the field, you step out of the car, you got your cleats on, or even if you don't have them on, then you keep them on until you walk off the field, and then, maybe you bang them out right before you get in the car or something like that, and you just get in the car, the laces are all over the place, cleats are all dirty. And what he was trying to show me was, your feet and the cleats, these are your tools. This is what you use to play this game. You have to learn to value that like a professional athlete if that's what you want to be, right? If you're going to be as good as I think you are and as you think you are, then you have to exemplify that level of greatness. And a real coach is gonna, because scouts would come and watch games. And he was showing me a real coach or somebody who really knows the game is gonna see that when they look at you. They're gonna see, damn, he looks like a player. They're gonna have their eyes on you because you look like a professional. And I'll never forget that. And so one of the things that translates to is, body language. You're looking deeper than just the performance on the field. You're looking deeper than that. And so on this simple little throw, what I'm looking at here is the relaxed, calm, not lackadaisical, just relaxed, smooth, like it was on the practice field. Like if you made this throw on the practice field, it would be like, okay, great, it's practice, who cares? That's the same way he did it right here. And this is a big game. They're down 17-2. This is maybe the biggest game of Zach's career. The pressure is on. Everybody's watching. He hasn't played all that great. Everybody's hating on him. And he's still nice and calm. And you can tell by his body language. Watch his body when he throws the ball. Watch how he just kind of trails off. Nice and relaxed. Arm is loosey-goosey. That's not somebody who's playing with tension in their body. That's somebody who's relaxed and calm and confident. And that's why it was a perfect, easy throw. That's why he's not making those yip throws anymore, because he's calm and relaxed and he's clearly worked on it and he's prepared. There's another behind the line throw that would have previously been a yip throw. Nice and easy. And I actually saw him working on that exact fake and throw before the game. Okay, so on this play, he was trying to hit Tyler Conklin. He could have thrown this to Michael Carter in the flat, but it's clear that he saw something and he was, he knows that Tyler Conklin's gonna come across. And if I could just get one, actually, you could say he got a little greedy because it's 3rd and 3. He could have easily thrown it to Michael Carter in the flat. But now here, just like everybody was arguing, Oh, he's taking the check down. He's trying to be more aggressive. So it's a pick play, and he sees Carter. He's looking that way, but he also sees that the linebacker slashed down on the play. The linebacker is coming across Lazard's face right now. He doesn't know that he's going to get caught up with Lazard. You know, as he gets more experienced, he might trust that. If that was Breece Hall, he might throw that. But he's like, it's 3rd and 3. We need some points here, man. We got to get in the end zone. If he gets hung up, if he follows Michael Carter and gets past Lazard, Tyler Conklin's going to be wide open. This is a touchdown. So here he is. He's waiting for Tyler Conklin just to take one more step past the hash. He's going to throw it. It's a touchdown. But, there's pressure. Now he's got to avoid the pressure. Now the whole play is thrown off. And, you know, he does his best to avoid the tackle, and he still delivers a ball. It was a tough throw. Tyler Conklin should have caught it. It wasn't ideal, but it didn't happen. But once again, I don't look at this as Zach wasn't doing anything. I look at this as it's a game, and the other team is getting paid too. And he tried, and I thought he did a damn good job of trying to get away from that. He got a little greedy, but you know, you can't win. He takes the check down. You guys are saying that he's not being aggressive enough. Then he goes to make a play, and the receiver drops the ball. It would have been a tough catch, but he could have caught that. And then it's Zach sucks. So I mean, you guys are doing too much. I mean, that's a tough throw, because what you guys are likely seeing is he's throwing on the run, and you know, Zach is supposed to be able to throw on the run. He's got to make a better throw than that. But what you're not seeing is the angle at which he was forced to throw the ball. So he takes 1-2 steps. He has to turn his body, throw it, and lead Tyler Conklin. And what you can't see from this angle is that this guy, number 30, I believe is his number, that's out in front of him, is slightly actually in the way of the throw. It doesn't look like it from this angle, but that's because typically when people watch film, they don't account for momentum and positioning. Like, he's about to throw the ball and the guy's not there yet, but as he throws, that guy's running too. So it's a tough throw, and he should be able to make it. But typically when you guys are watching film, I feel like not enough people account for momentum. They just look at where people are, and they don't realize that the game is moving fast. This guy, number 30, he's moving. As Zach is throwing, he's trying to block the pass, and he's in the way. If Zach throws it a little bit more towards Tyler Conklin, so where he doesn't have to dive out enough, this guy's easily going to block the throw. You can't see it from this angle. It's like, oh no, he's got the room, because you can't see where Tyler Conklin is. You don't understand where in relation he is to Zach Wilson, and that he still has to throw it out in front of him or it's going to get blocked by this guy. Look at him. He puts his hands up. He almost blocks the throw, right? That's why Zach threw it under like this. Y'all don't pay attention when you're watching film. You're only looking at the outcome. Oh, he didn't complete the pass. It was a low throw. Why was it a low throw? Look at it from the other angle. So he's torquing his body. He's trying to make this throw. And bang, look at where the guy is. If he throws it a little bit more that way, it's going to get blocked. Look, the ball barely clears his hands anyway. If he throws that ball any more towards Tyler Conklin, that's blocked, maybe even picked. He had to duck it down under the guy's outstretched arms. This is an amazing throw. The fact that he's able to get it off, to be honest with you. And it was a tough catch, but Tyler Conklin should have made that catch. If the roles were reversed, it was Zach Wilson. You'd be, Zach Wilson, he's got to make that catch. He's getting paid $30 million. Yo, the rule, I played receiver. If it hits your hands, you got to catch it. And that wasn't some like, it hit my hands, but I had to like jump and somebody took my legs out and, but it hit my hands. Like, it's a tough diving catch, but that's a fairly easy, it's a fairly routine diving catch. It hit your hands. You had both hands on it. It was a tough catch. I'm not gonna rip Tyler Conklin about it, but he should have caught it. But it was a tough catch. But this is a great throw. And the fact that people are looking at this play as if this was a poor throw, he threw it too low. It's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Wow. Good job, Zach. That, you got to catch that, bro. Like I said, if he throws it any more this way or higher, that ball's blocked easily. This is the only place he could put the ball. And he put it where his guy could get it. That's got to be a catch, my man. When other quarterbacks, great quarterbacks do that, they throw the ball and the receiver has to make a great play on it. What do we say? He put it where only his guy could get it. That's what Zach did. It's just that when people, I know how people think, right? Because I hear them. I hear the way that they respond to all different types of athletes in sports. It's pretty consistent, right? You're looking at Tyler Conklin and there's nobody around him. So you're assuming Zach could have put the ball anywhere and it should have been a better throw. And he chose to put it here, or his lack of ability or consistency made him put it here. So he sucks. And that's why it was a bad throw. You're not able to see what I just showed you. You're not able to see that in real time, that was a tough throw, and it probably would have got blocked if you put it anywhere else, and he still managed to put it someplace where it was catchable for his guy. Because logically, he could have thrown it even further away to make sure that it wouldn't have gotten blocked, because it was pretty close to getting blocked. But he gave Tyler Conklin as much room as he could that he could make a play on it. Y'all should be saying, wow, that was an amazing throw. Damn, Tyler, you gotta make that play next time, bro. Tough catch. Okay, let's get it. Y'all shouldn't be saying anything about Zach Wilson on this play.
Facts.
What do we have here? Okay, little screen pass to Brees. Okay. That's nothing. Oh, so here's one of the throws I think Zach, missed. This is a miss. It's not a miss like poor accuracy. He actually put it in the perfect spot. This is a miss on timing. He got a little excited, I think, on this one. And, I guess you could say that he could have put more air under it, but I disagree. Because, one, if he puts more air under it, that's going to give the corner more time to recover. When he's put a lot of air under it in the past, safeties have come over. So I understand. And also to be honest, that's not as much into his skill set. This is how if you go back and watch Zach in BYU, this is how he likes to throw the ball downfield. He likes to throw it on a little bit less, just under what you would consider throwing it like on a line, right? It's easier for him, I think, with his arm strength to just, let the person get a little bit downfield and then just zip it over there and, outthrow the defense that way. So he does need to work on his deep ball with touch and timing. But where the ball ends up is actually the perfect spot. I mean, Aaron Rodgers 9.89 times out of 10 completes this throw easily. But Aaron Rodgers is one of the greatest quarterbacks, if not the greatest thrower of the football to ever play the game. And Aaron Rodgers would have made that throw. Well, guess what? Almost nobody else in the NFL would have made that throw 9.89 times out of 100. Maybe more at a higher percentage than Zach, because this is only his third season, right? He's still getting better. But I don't think it was a poor throw at all. I'm going to show you his footwork. I think he got a little bit excited, and also he's just working. It's still early in the season. He's working out the kinks with Garrett. This is a complex route, timing wise, and I think that's one of the other overlooked factors. I mean, this is a miss. This is a miss. He definitely missed this throw, but it's not an accuracy miss. It's a timing miss. And something y'all got to understand is Garrett Wilson is an amazing receiver, straight up, and what that means is, one of the things that makes Garrett so good, it's like, here's an analogy. If you have a pitcher, a good example would be the pitcher the Mets just signed this season, who had a fantastic rookie season, right? I'm forgetting his name right now. Ghost Forkball. What's his name? I can't remember his name. But he throws the Ghost Forkball, and almost nobody can hit it, right? I think he had like the most swings and misses, or second most swing and misses on that pitch of any pitcher in the entire league. But the point I'm trying to make is that when a pitcher has a lot of movement on their pitches. It makes it hard for the hitters to hit it. It's hard to go up against, but it's also hard for a catcher to be able to catch that, right? You have to be very developed as a catcher because that ball is coming in. He's throwing 98 mile an hour fastballs, cut fastballs, fork balls that are bouncing in front of the thing, and the hitter doesn't even know it's a fork ball, right? The best hitters in the game are swinging and missing, looking like they never played before. He's throwing curveballs. So you got to be on point. In other words, sometimes having a lot of skill and ability makes playing with that player somewhat difficult. Sometimes people just have chemistry and just understand each other. Sometimes it requires like an Aaron Rodgers, somebody who has that level of experience, and also gain experience. You can gain that comfort and experience by understanding somebody's timing and rhythm. Because what Garrett does so well is he improvises his routes. He throws these extra little body movements and head movements and things that throw defenders off, but that he's where he needs to be for the most part. At least it seems so, timing wise, most of the time. But Zach is just now starting to come along with his timing. So I think sometimes, and in the past, I definitely think he has not really understood how. I don't think he never played with a receiver as talented as Garrett Wilson, as explosive as Garrett Wilson, that improvises the way that Garrett Wilson does. He's just learning how to do that. And, that's not Garrett Wilson's fault. If I'm Garrett Wilson, I'm like, I hear you, bro, but like, let's go. I feel that. But as a coach, as somebody who's a fan, just analyzing what's going on, instead of looking at it and just being like, oh, it's a miss, I'm trying to look at what's going on here. Why is this a miss? Because it's a good throw. It's a very intricate route. It's not like a traditional route. And so I think Zach just gets a little ahead of himself. I don't think they're 100% there yet with the timing. I think if they run this play again, this is a touchdown. I think he did rush that play action a little bit. He this call came in. I think he sees the look, and based off the way that Kansas City has been playing, I think right now he's thinking to himself, this is a touchdown. And he rushes it a little bit. Right now, he already knows this is a touchdown. He couldn't wait to throw this ball. He steps up in the pocket. It's a great throw. I mean, that's a great throw. He threw it to the goal line. Where is he supposed to throw it? I mean, I just think maybe he was a little bit rushed, a little bit. But as you can see, this is a complex route, timing wise, and you could also make the argument that coming straight out of his breaks right there, maybe Garrett didn't think that Zach was going to find him in time. Maybe because Zach has tended to underthrow some of these routes, he didn't want to outrun it because in the beginning it doesn't look like he's running full speed. He's kind of just coasting. He's got great long strides, but he's coasting, and then he sees the ball's out in front of him. He tries to speed up, and it's just too far. It's a little bit too far. Zach was ahead of the play a little bit, but that's a great throw. It's just the timing was off. And then they come right back, and they get a great first down. That's a tough throw right there. Any further inside, that's blocked or picked. Timing was great. Awesome play by Randall Cobb stretching out. That's a veteran move right there. All right, so we've seen this play a million times. Everybody's talking about this play, so I'm not going to go into it too much. It's just this is a great fake. I haven't seen Zach do this. I've never seen him do this. His fakes have gotten so much better. I haven't seen him Chad Pennington it or a little Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers' influence is definitely evident. I actually vividly remember watching them work on play action fakes in a practice. Like Aaron showing him over and over how to sell it and take that extra time to sell it. And Zach was, very attentively paying attention and trying to hang on his every movement and every word. And that's one of the things I love about Zach. He's really coachable. And that's what I think the Jets love about him. I think that people think it's lip service when Robert Saleh says how much better he's getting or why they like him. And y'all don't understand. As a coach, you love to work with players who have potential and that are coachable. If somebody has the want to and they have coachability and they have talent, you look at it like, yo, I'm a good coach. If I get to work with this kid, give me enough time, and he's going to succeed. The problem comes in when players have talent and they're not coachable or they have poor attitudes. So for me, the only time I was ever down on Zach was when he displayed that immaturity. And I know why he displayed it. It wasn't what people thought it was when he made that comment like, no, I didn't let down the defense. He was pissed off at the reporter. The reporter was boxing him into a question, did you let down the defense? He's pissed. He's humiliated. All the pressure's on him. But you got to be bigger than that in that moment. And, he learned his lesson. But at that moment, that was the only time I was like, okay, he's not ready yet. I mean, clearly he wasn't playing all that great. He had some moments that I thought were good, and we were winning. But when you're playing a team sport and the rest of the team, people will believe in you and they'll give you some grace if you're working hard and you had some bad moments, but only if you're displaying humility. And when he didn't display that humility, that lack of leadership, that lack of leading by example and personal accountability, that's when I knew he was feeling the pressure and he wasn't ready in that moment. That was like a cry for help. So I'm very happy to see the development in that area from him. So, that's one of the things I know the coaches love about him is his attitude and the way, when Aaron Rodgers came over here, everybody in that building knew put Zach behind Aaron Rodgers, and with that type of leadership and his work ethic and want to and potential and ability, and we're gonna get him where he needs to go. And the plan got fucked. The plan got fucked early on in the season, but it just shows the amount that Zach was paying attention and listening to and working with Aaron Rodgers, because you can see a ton of development in Zach already. And I mean, yeah, he worked with Aaron all off season and the team and Hackett and everybody, but he didn't get that much time with him. I mean, give him a full season, maybe even another season to sit behind Aaron Rodgers and work with him in practice and get a chance to see what he's seeing and break down film together. Y'all are gonna be paying big apologies to Zach Wilson. Remember that I said it. This is a great throw. I just love the comfort. I love that he's fading back. I love that he had the patience to wait. I love that he just kind of swag throws this. He's in his bag right now. Hold that. Light work. Yeah, Zach. You got that, bro. You got that. Yeah, he's chilling. Quiet. His body's quiet. Your potential shines through when you play relaxed, when you play calm and confident and intense, but calm. Right? That's what Kobe's whole theme was, Black Mamba, right? Oh, man. Before those 4 drives, he wasn't doing anything. Just outplaying the best quarterback on the planet. So this is the last drive right before halftime. And I thought this was a good drive. I thought they were moving the ball pretty well. That's a good throw. Zach definitely looks like he's standing in the pocket under pressure so much better. I remember even last season, even when he would have decent games, there were so many times when, as somebody who believes in his ability, I would look at highlights or go back and watch film, and there was a noticeable difference. You watch other quarterbacks like Mike White, and when he came in and everybody got all excited or whatever. Zach would complete his types of passes, but he didn't typically complete these types of passes. Like with a guy, it's not that he was afraid to get hit. He just didn't stand in the pocket. His natural urge was to escape the pocket and use his athleticism and get away. And then the play gets broken down, and now it's a free play. And that was what was happening all the time. It looks sloppy, but so he didn't really have those like, I just stand there and just I'm getting hit as I throw it. He didn't have those many types of completions, and he's had a bunch already this season because he's stepping into the throws. Fuck it. If somebody hits me, it doesn't even matter. He's not even looking at them. I'm just going to step up into the throw. He's getting hit on many plays. Doesn't matter. He's not even looking at them. You don't even give a shit. That's awesome. That's awesome, Zach. He's balling. I mean, this is a great drive. I mean, they were consistently moving the ball. Just because they didn't score on this drive, I don't understand how it's, Zach wasn't playing. He wasn't doing anything. This is the drive where Michael Carter drops the ball. But it's just calm drop back, stands in the pocket, just calmly looks over the pocket. Perfect ball. Man, the kid is balling. He doesn't get enough credit for the amount of pressures that he escapes. I would definitely agree that in the past he's escaped the pocket too soon. I mean, his athleticism is underrated, but he would rely on it too much. He would escape the pocket too soon. But it's so impressive since his rookie year, the way he's able to avoid pressure with subtle movements and do it at the last second. I mean, he's an explosive short area quickness athlete. He really is. I mean, he's backing up, waits till the last second. Oh, they just can't get him. And now he's calm. Now he's jogging again. Finds a guy. If Patrick Mahomes makes this play, y'all are talking about, oh my God, he's so good. Zach does it, and it's like, yeah, Michael Carter drops the ball, but then in retrospect, it's Zach didn't do anything on this drive. It's clown shit. Clown shit.
You stupid.
What do we have here? This is actually another really good throw. I mean, this is an amazing catch by Garrett Wilson, but this is an awesome catch by Garrett Wilson. But once again, I mean, look at where Zach's throwing the ball from. He's climbing in the pocket. Every drop back where it's possible, he's climbing in the pocket. Climbing in the pocket. Bang. I mean, we need to get out of bounds here. Great, awesome catch. I mean, Garrett Wilson's amazing. But this is where only my guy can get it. My guy can get it, and he's out of bounds. Save the timeouts. Beautiful. This is what I want to show you guys next. I want you to look at, earlier I was talking about confidence and intensity. And the intensity, the look, that eye of the tiger, right? That killer instinct. In the second half, if you look at Zach's eyes, I haven't seen that look from him. I've seen him be geared into the game. I've seen him be focused in the game. I've seen him play well. But I've never seen this confident, loose, attack mode look in his eye. He looked like he wasn't thinking. He looked like he was getting up to the line of scrimmage, and he was like a killer, like a Brady or somebody like that. That's what he looked like in his eyes. I'm not saying he's Tom Brady. I'm saying I know athletes, and when you look in his eyes, there's a noticeable difference of where his demeanor is and where his confidence level's at and where his intensity meter is at. He's looking like somebody who's in the zone. He knows what he's seeing. He's not guessing. Gets up to the line. Look at him. He's making all kinds of checks and calls on this play. That's somebody who knows what they're doing. He gets up there. all right, yeah, I know what we're going to do here. We're going to switch this. We're going to switch that. I haven't seen that from Zach. Haven't seen that at all. He knows exactly what he's setting up here. He's setting this up. Everybody's focusing on the throw. What a great throw. Oh, it was a back shoulder throw. And that was, we haven't seen back shoulder throws from Zach. And what a great catch, Jeremy Ruckert. But this is why we're like Evan Roberts and even guys on ESPN, you know, the Stephen A. Smiths of the world and, you know, anybody else on TV who's saying, you know, oh, well, we got to see more from Zach. We do need to see more from Zach. Absolutely. It was one game. But when you're looking at, well, do we think it's going to continue? Do we not? You know, are we looking at the stats and saying, well, this is the one game that he put a complete game together or almost a fully complete game and played well all the way through and really showed, you know, what he can be. And this is the one game he did that. And so we need to see more of that. I mean, that's a fair statement. But what I'm looking at is why? Was this did this come out of nowhere? Because if you think it just came out of nowhere, then it's more understandable why you would think there's no real reason to believe that it would continue. I mean, it's not like the coaches have been telling you that he's been playing awesome in practice and all training camp. And I mean, it's not like Robert Saleh has been telling that to y'all. Bruh. Jesus. Makes all the checks, knows exactly where he wants to go with the ball. This is a guy who's in control of the offense right now. Fuck the throw. It's more impressive to me is the fact that he came up to that line of scrimmage with that look in his eyes and knew exactly what he needed to do. We're gonna, you know, like when you're playing Madden and you're doing the hot routes. Okay, hold on. We're gonna, you know, change this route, change that route. Okay, I know what we got here. The play. We're gonna change this play. We're going to have this guy do that. That's my best player right there. I'm just going to send him on a fade. He can't keep up with him. Simple. You know, you can't do that when you're not in the moment. When everything's moving too fast for you, you don't think that way because you're thinking about the steps you got to take on your drop back. And come on, I got to find this pass. I got to make this play. You know, a lot of pressure. You're too in your head. When you let all that go and you've put in the work, you're able to start relying on your instincts and you start getting those spontaneous, you start getting those like spontaneous ideas like, oh, okay, I know what this looks like. I know what we can do here. Dang. And then you act. Look at the look in his eye. Okay, I see. I know what's going on here. Change this, change that. Ruckert, you're gonna run a quick step out fade. Bang, give him a little quick step. Got you. Done. Easy. And that's a whole lot different than just making a back shoulder throw.
Facts.
Okay, before we wrap it up, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below, and give me your honest opinion on where you think Zach is at and whether you think he'll show up or what version of him you think will show up in the Broncos game and whether you think we'll win. But right now, I want to show you another example of intensity and being in the zone. And this is what I'm looking at when I'm looking at development and where Zach is at and where I think he's going from here. I'm not looking just at the stats. Yeah, the stats were great. It was really good for him to put up those numbers so that other people would believe in him and so that he could show his teammates that and you know, win back some of the locker room and get some belief, some genuine belief in him, not just supportive belief. Like, okay, Zach, okay. You know, that kind of belief. That was good for him. But what I'm looking at, what a coach should be looking at is where we think it's coming from and do we think it's real and how can we project that into the future moving forward? What do we expect, right? We never know what's going to happen, but what do you expect, right? If I'm just looking at the stats, I don't really know what to expect. Right? Because stats are a product of circumstances. And you got to look deep into the circumstances and the context to understand what, even if the stats are consistent still, what the stats might be consistent because you had all these players on the team and then everybody gets hurt. Are those stats going to stay the same? Probably not. Maybe. Right? So we got to look deep into the context to try to understand what's going on. So what I'm looking at is his body language, the look in his eyes, things that signify awareness, things that show a greater understanding of the game and show true development, since, to be honest, that's where Zach has been lacking the most. Understanding of the game, awareness, higher level game within the game types of plays, and displaying that type of thinking. So I want you to look really close at his eyes on this play. And not just his eyes. Take a look at, one of the things that when people talk about being in the zone, one of the things that they talk about is narrow field of vision, right? Like you'll hear Steph Curry or somebody like that who's on fire. You'll hear them say things like, the reporters will ask after the game, did the basket look like the ocean, or what does it feel like when you're that hot, or something like that? And they'll say like, yeah, man, the basket looked like a sink. You know what I mean? Like it was just, but really what they'll say is like, I didn't see anything else. I couldn't see anything else. I couldn't hear anything else. It was just tunnel vision. It was just me and the basket, and I feel like I couldn't miss, right? Narrow vision. Everything else gets quiet. And typically, literally, what will happen is the pupils will contract a little bit, and there'll be this relaxed, almost like GQ model type of look, right? Where it's like you're just kind of squinting and you're just so calm and relaxed, and you're literally blocking out noise, and you got tunnel vision. And, great players all have their own, like tell, like poker or something when they're in that type of zone. Michael Jordan's was sticking out his tongue, right? Some players will do weird things with their fingers or facial expressions or things like that. Look at Zach's face on this throw. Right before he makes the throw. This is not somebody who's playing with a lack of confidence. This is somebody who is in the zone, and is in the zone in a way where it's like swag type of zone. Like you start to feel like you can't miss. Like I could put this ball anywhere I want. That's how he looks. Watch. Look at him. Almost got his tongue out a little bit. His face is relaxed. His eyes are squinted. Bang. Throws the ball. It's got like a little swag on it. Pinpoint. Fits it between two guys. That's a confident throw. I'll tell you where that comes from. What happened on this play, the reason I believe he's making this face, this relaxed face, is because he knows he's throwing this ball to Garrett Wilson. And based off the way the defense is playing, this is going to be a tight throw. He already knows I have to throw this at the perfect time, and I have to make sure that I don't lead Garrett into this. He's not thinking this consciously, but he just knows this. He can see the defense. He's already in the zone where when he's looking out at the defense, when you're reading it, it's not like you're reading it and processing it by thinking. It's an instinctual feeling. He's looking at the defense, and on a physiological, visceral level, he feels connected to what's happening around him. And so it's almost like you're in control of it. So he's looking and he's thinking like, I'm going to throw this at a specific time. And as soon as I feel that time happens, I'm going to fire this ball. And he's waiting for that time. And he instinctually knows he'll feel when that time is, right? That's what timing is. It's not like 1, 2, 3, I throw it. It's you have to know when that time is. And when you feel the time is right, you throw it. And with repetition, with practice and repetition, and yes, if you're just learning, you would be talking through the timing of it. But in the game, and when you're advanced, you're not thinking about the time. You're not counting, right? You're just feeling it. You have a deep visceral connection with the timing. So that's what he's doing right now. That's what that look is, right? I'm just waiting for him to either plant his foot or to turn his shoulder, whatever signal or whatever marker that Zach is looking for him to fire the ball. That's what his face is saying right now. His face is saying, as soon as I see that thing, I'm letting go of this ball. And he's relaxed, waiting for that moment so he can respond explosively and fluidly, right? Like I was saying before. when you're in the zone and when you're confident and when you're not playing stiff and tight like a boxer, right? Think of like a Floyd Mayweather or somebody who's over there nice and loose, bang, jab, da, jab, right? You don't see them like if you muscle it up too much, you actually slow down your punches, right? You need to be loose and relaxed, and then your body fires, right? And then you'll see these same types of looks on like a boxer. Right before they throw a jab, you'll see the swag start coming out. Right? Roy Jones Jr. used to do this a lot. He would do things like, bang, jab, right? And really what that is as a former athlete, what that is you're not willing yourself, but it's like meditative breathing almost. I want my body to feel relaxed and loose. So these things I'm subconsciously doing with my body and my face is to enhance the relaxed, calm, loose feeling, because that's how I'm going to fire explosively with the most precision. And that doesn't always happen. It happens when you're either in the zone or when you've just gotten to a level of expertise that this is kind of like your constant. You have that much trust and confidence in your ability that you're not aiming anymore. You're not trying to time anything anymore. You're trying to focus on staying loose and relaxed. And you know that moment is going to show itself to you and you're just going to react. And that's exactly what his face is right now. It's this relaxed breathing. Everything's moving in slow motion. He's waiting for that marker, whatever it is that he wants to see. He's waiting for it. And as soon as bang, you see how quickly he changes his face? He goes from that relaxed look that he's looking for that marker when he plants his foot. And when he sees it, bang, licks his lips and explodes and fires the ball where only Garrett can get it. Let's look at it one more time. Awesome throw, awesome catch. Another throw from a crowded pocket. People all around him. Looks nice and calm. Feet set, grounded, on balance. Look at that. He's throwing the ball in the pocket. There's people all around him. The pocket was nice before. Right now it's really tight. I mean, there's literally people all around him, and he's not seeing them at all. It looks like, I mean, you could go to like Photoshop and erase those people out of here, and you would not know that they were ever there. Just looks like he's just him and Garrett. Him and Lazard just running a route in pregame, and he's just throwing it to him. Look, he throws the ball, doesn't even react, still not reacting. He hasn't moved his feet. He's just standing there. Fuck the people around him. So that's what I'm looking at when I'm looking at development. What I want to see is patience, calmness, confidence. I want to see intensity, but controlled intensity, because that's what being in the zone is. You're actually way more intense than when you're not in the zone, even though you look way more relaxed and calm and focused. Right? It's like I said, being in a meditative state. Studies show that when the brain is analyzed during and post meditation, the brain produces alpha waves, and alpha waves are associated with a calm state of focus. So that's one of the reasons why I compare it to a meditative state, because when you're in the zone, your brain is producing alpha waves. You have heightened awareness, heightened focus, but also extreme relaxation. It's a really calm, focused state. And so it's heightened intensity, but heightened relaxation, which is why the awareness is so high, right? Because with intensity comes adrenaline and dopamine, which allows you to focus, but you can't capitalize on that intensity, right? You'll just spiral into adrenaline and just be playing wild and crazy if you don't have the calm focus. So the calmness of the alpha waves and the relaxation mixed with that dopamine and adrenaline, that heightened awareness state, is what allows you to play in that pinpoint accuracy where you're able to block out distractions and really zone in on the signals that your brain is receiving around you. So that was a great game. A great game from Zach. It was much better, I think, than people gave him credit for, not in terms of numbers, in terms of his growth, in terms of his development, how far he's come. Some of the throws we may have seen before, some of them we haven't. But the look that he displayed in this game, his confidence, those things I was just going over, I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that at all. So do I believe he's going to have a great game against Denver? That remains to be seen. I believe he's going to play well. I do. I think he's going to come out and have that same amount of confidence. I think he's going to build off of that confidence because that's bigger than, oh, I completed a lot of passes. He felt that feeling. He knows that he was processing things and he was one step ahead of what was going on around. You know, one of the things that we've been able to criticize Zach for, I've heard other people like Kurt Warner and people, you know, Darren Orlovsky, that people have accurately said is that the game was moving too fast for him. That was 100% true. It has been. The game was not moving too fast for him in this game. That's why he was in the zone. Because for the first time, the game slowed down and he was like, okay, I see what's going on here. I know what I'm doing. I don't even need to think about the timing. I'm in slow motion and I'm just, bow, there it is, right? And when you feel what that feels like, it doesn't mean every game after that is going to be perfect. Nobody's perfect. But you typically don't go backwards from that feeling, right? I mean, even if he were to come out and throw a pick or something like that, or have some missed reads or something like that in this next game, I don't think he's going to go backwards on the aspect of awareness and timing and the game moving too fast for him. I don't see that happening. That's not a fluke. The game doesn't slow down for you sometimes and then it goes back to being too fast for you. That's not how it works. Sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes you were feeling it and you were just making really good throws. And then, you know, consistency is one of the most challenging things in every field when you're talking about mastering something. You have to be able to do it over and over and over again. And that comes with time. So mistakes will be made. I'm sure there will be moments of inconsistency. But when the game slows down for you, that's already a display of mastery. You've mastered. There's levels to it, right? You've let me not say mastery. You've arrived, right? When the game slows down for you, that means that you have now elevated yourself, your awareness and your ability of the speed of this game and the processing that needs to occur in this game and your confidence and ability to succeed at this level. You've reached a point where you now fully, on a visceral level, believe that you belong and you are now moving at the speed of the game. The game's not moving faster than you. You're moving at the speed of the game. You don't go backwards from that, right? The only thing that can make you go backwards from that would be not playing for a long time, right? You get hurt, and then you got to come back in and readjust to the game. Or you switch teams, maybe, and it's a whole different offense, and now you're relearning something. And now that thinking is affecting your processing speed again. Now you're back in your head. I don't see, if anything, I would expect to see even more growth in the next game in terms of the game not slowing down for him. Because same system, more confidence his teammates have in him, more confidence the coaching staff has in him. And I do think part of that zone, one of the things I wanted to mention is that Zach has ADD. He talked about it when he was coming out in the draft. And I'm somebody who's had to deal with ADD my entire life. I've literally had brain scans and had it analyzed by neurological professionals. And I've seen what's going on in my brain. I've been tested on all different types of things. So I have a little bit of an understanding of what some of the difficulties are and some of the challenges that Zach may be having. So when I see the game slowing down for him, that's a big deal, because having a lot of thoughts in his head is what definitely was is definitely what was partially what was distracting him and making it difficult to. One of the most frustrating things with people who have ADD, for others and for yourself, is you'll be really good at something, and you might be able to do, something that I always had was I could do the most difficult things. I was doing bicycle kicks. I was doing all types of amazing things, but then I would miss a simple pass sometimes. And it's not because I can't make the pass. It's loss of focus, whatever it might be. And that would always frustrate coaches, specifically when I was younger. Like, why can you do this? This is the hard thing. You're not supposed to be able to do this first. It's supposed to be the other way around. You're supposed to come in and you're at this level, and whatever level you're at, that's good. And then you get better and better, and then you start to make even better plays, right? You're not supposed to be able to do the most difficult things that other people who are way ahead of you in other areas can't do, but then you struggle with the simple things that people who are way worse than you can do easily, right? That's a sign of that. So when you turn that corner, that says to me that now that he's cleared through some of that space of the having to think so much, he's going to trust himself to kind of let go of the thinking even more, because now I can kind of rely on my instincts to take over again. And that's when you're at your best. People who have ADD typically need to like get down before they get up, right? Like, when their back's against the wall, they perform at their best. The reason is because when you have inattentive ADD, because there's 7 different types of ADD, but when you have an inattentive type of ADD, what's going on in your brain is that the frontal lobe literally shuts off, right? It's not active when you're trying to tap into focus, because that's what frontal lobe allows us to do, is to direct our attention. And so when you try to direct your attention, it's not really working. Literally, the brain activity is non-existent, where with other people, it's normal. And people with inattentive ADD, it's low to non-existent. And it's because of a lack of adrenaline, and the body uses adrenaline and dopamine together to create pointed focus. So that's why people with ADD do really well when their back's against the wall, waiting till the very end of a due date to complete a project. Well, now that we have that deadline, we get that adrenaline boost, and then that adrenaline allows us to, produce dopamine and focus, and now we perform at our best. So it sounds counterintuitive and weird to everybody else. Why would you put yourself in this position? Because in this position, oddly enough, this person is finally able to focus and act without thinking, and it's actually easier for them. So, but that does catch up to you, and you can't get away with that all the time. And that's what people with ADD have to learn. You have to learn how to deal with the condition, and sometimes it takes you longer to learn things. Even if you're extremely advanced and skilled, it will take you longer to learn things or to consistently be able to display that learning, because the focus is the issue, right? You got it, and then, damn, I lost it. You got it, damn, I lost it. Once again, that's one of the other reasons why I think Zach is going to play well moving forward, and also why I think he played well in this game. His back was against the wall, and it still is, right? The Jets signed Trevor Siemian. It's not direct competition, but it is. He knows, all right, they brought in Aaron Rodgers. He got hurt. It's the beginning of the season. It's not like I just got to get through 3, 4, 5 games and then I get more time. Like, this is the whole season right here. They're not going to give me all season to just throw it away, right? It's now or never. And he's put in a lot of work, and he wants it, and he feels like he's gotten better, and it wasn't fully working out. And I'm sure he felt like he was getting better. He was seeing the field better. but it wasn't happening yet. And I think he was starting to feel the pressure, but in a good way. Like, all right, now I got to do something about this, man. Fuck this shit, man. We got to make this shit happen. I got to go. And that pressure was on. Sure enough, here he comes out playing calm and relaxed and focused and in the zone. Because when you have ADD, that's how it works, man. So moving forward in this next game, it's like Aaron Rodgers said, give me your doubts, give me your proclamations and prognostications and all of that in your timelines and watch what I do, right? For Zach, keep hating on him. Keep saying it's a 1-game fluke, it's a 2-game fluke, it's a 3-game fluke. If you ever saw Major League, they'll blow it in the playoffs. He's going to, when they come back from the bye, we suck again. You know what I mean? Keep it coming. Because the more y'all hate on him right now, the more everybody doubts him right now, the more fuel I think that's going to give, not to his revenge mindset, but to his focus, right? The more he keeps feeling the pressure and that people still don't believe in him and that he could lose his job and he's got to do it now, the better he's going to play. And once again, I know that that's weird because a lot of times when players struggle, you don't expect them to have their best moments when things get harder. But that's one of the reasons why I believe in Zach, because he has that quality. That's kind of a quality that's, you can't really teach that. You kind of either have that or you don't. In very rare occasions, players can develop that a little bit more of like the clutch gene. But the reason it's called the clutch gene is because you either have it or you don't. Tim Cook, Michael Jordan and Kobe's renowned trainer, I read his book and he talks a lot about it. He calls it the cleaner, right? When you're the cleaner, not the closer, the cleaner. Like in the mafia, like the one they call to clean the scene, to get everything done, make sure everything is done, and make sure everything is done right. And you got everything. It's all on you. Like, this is a serious situation. We could all go down. Call the cleaner, right? You're the last line of defense. You're that guy, and that's bigger than the clutch gene. That's bigger than the closer, right? That's the person that says, fuck all of this shit. Get out of the way, and I got it. Now, I'm not saying Zach is there yet, but he does have that quality. Partially, I think it's because of the ADD, and then it's also his ability and just his unique personality. But he does have that. He always tends to play his best, or just when you think he's done, he somehow comes back and redeems himself, or makes a play. Typically, the way we would see it would be he's bumming it for a lot of the game, and then in the end of the game, all of a sudden he turns up, but it's a little too late, right? But as he's getting better, he's still using that energy, and he's learning not to give the game away earlier on in the game. Now that starts to manifest itself as a guy who can lead his team to comebacks at the end of the game. And that's probably one of the best qualities for a quarterback in the NFL to have. Can you bring your team back at the end of the game? So I'm going to close it out on that note. And, at this point, there's really nothing left to do but to watch the Jets-Broncos game tomorrow, and let's see what happens. If I'm right, leave a comment. Let me know. You can hate if you want to, but, we can have a good discussion about it. But, if I'm wrong, I'll own it, but I don't think I am. I expect Zach to come out and have a really good game. I do expect the Broncos to see what I saw, and I think they're going to try to take away those short throws that the Jets and Zach were using to get into third and manageable. I think they're going to peep game. They're going to be like, all right, they were taking the quick short throws and getting into 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 5, and we're either going to jump those routes or we're going to take those away and force him into longer developing routes and see if he holds on to the ball and panics like he was doing before, or if the pressure gets to him or whatever. But, yeah, I think with our ability to run the ball, and I don't think he was just jumping on those shorter throws. I think he was just taking them because they were there. So, I wouldn't be surprised if the Broncos do try to take that away and you see some explosive plays, some early downfield shots from Zach. If they try to take away those short throws, I think he's in the right frame of mind right now where he's going to take that one-on-one, covered or not. I'm going to throw it up. Go get it. So look for the Jets to win this game. Look for Zach to play well. Don't look for him to be perfect. And I'll see you guys next week.